Boss Rush 740 Day 2. So this one's, again, not a good farming day. We've got to fight 2 bosses this time after the first, which is the White King, which is very easy, and N'Zoth, which is the same as yesterday, so pretty straightforward. But the first boss is Kazakus, and we're using the same strategy that we had on level 580 Day 6, so you could go check out the 580 Day 6 video if you want to see how we did it that previous time as well. But the centerpiece of the strategy is Deathwing with his Demon Soul equipment here. That is going to yoink control of the duplicating dragons from Kazakus. There's a little bit of RNG whether they duplicate or not, but it's fine, and it's very budget friendly. So we're using Lesser Water Elemental on Balinda, Arena Contender on Bwon, Fresh Peaches on Nemsy, Demon Soul on Deathwing, Gilnean Strength on Genn, and Scout Spyglass on Rogers. And you do have some flexibility where you could swap out Nemsy, you could bring like Medivh or Khadgar or something. Khadgar is good at rooting these dragons on this first fight. And you could swap out your Artillery Strike Mercenaries if you need to or want to. But Nemsy should work fine in place of Medivh for the remaining bosses that we fight after this. So to start with, we just do a immune taunted Bwon and freeze Kazakus on turn 1. And then you really just hope for these guys to use the duplication skill as soon as possible after that. So I am going to put some fire weakness there and freeze him. And we're going to bounce and give a perma-taunt to our Bwonsamdi here. Okay, and now we just bring out Bwonsamdi, Balinda, and Deathwing. And we just hope that they use their copy skill. It's probably best to kill off the Boggy, because you do have some board space constraints. So I probably should have swung with that, but that's fine. And I like to position like this so that they have that frenzied attack. I don't know if they use, yeah, this one. That'll cleave adjacent, and I don't want to get my Deathwing killed by it, so I'm just going to put my taunts on the left, and then any cleave damage would hit Balinda. So here's where the RNG comes in. You just really want them to use that doubling attack and give you your free dragon, so we got one here, so that's great. I'm going to kill off this Boggy, though. We're going to bounce, we're going to ramp fire, and you don't have to use the elemental. You can save it for later, or you can swing with it. We have board space, so I'm fine with leaving it alive for now. You could use Destroy All Life. You could also taunt with your Deathwing. If he dies, he will still get the copy if this hits into him. So if you want to get rid of him because you're going to have to kill him off by the end of the fight, you can do that. Or you can save him to yoink more doubles without allowing the enemies to get those doubles themselves. But you only need one, because then you can use the doubling skill yourself and make a whole board of dragons. The only reason to keep him around to steal more is just as a defensive position so that the enemy doesn't get them. You're just trying to deny those breaks. I'm just going to pass with him for now, though. Because I do want to prevent them from getting extras, because you have to kill all those extras, and it makes the fight take a lot longer. Now, these dragons do count as mercenaries, so it's going to consume your board slots when you put them out here. So I'm going to run with this guy, Bwonsamdi, and Deathwing still. And this is because I want to make a copy here, and we're going to bounce so that we can reconfigure our board. And then I need to get this Deathwing killed, and I also want to deny any copies from the enemy this turn. So I can't swing to kill him, so I'm just going to taunt. And we're going to bounce, and we're going to double. And I'm going to hit this guy, because we're going to get control of this double. And I'm fine with that. You can also try to focus down the Kazakus himself. I do like to try to kill off the drakes if I can. He didn't end up hitting my Deathwing, so we're gonna have to still kill him off at some point. I'm actually gonna run him back out now and then just use golems with him. So let's put the highest health one and the lowest health one. So I want to make copies with the high health one because we're going to start running out of board space. I could try to protect the Deathwing, but there's really no reason to. So I'm just gonna go with this. I don't think I want to make a terror. I don't really want to damage my own units, and I don't really need to swing. We'll just let them swing into him so we take less damage on our golems. Okay, and this will not make us put out a new mercenary here because all of these are mercenaries. We can delay this transformation here. When he does transform, though, all these guys do get this. He's going to change his passive to make all dragons deal more damage, and that does apply to our dragons here. Actually, I want the highest health one to make a copy. So let me order these correctly. I just use the doubling attack because the other attacks never do anything, so. Now, if you do want to kill off mercenaries by the end of this, which it is beneficial to increase your artillery strike odds, you probably want your Bwonsamdi and your Balinda dead. Just Bwonsamdi and Balinda, in addition to the Deathwing. You are going to have to eventually kill off at least 4 of these to get those guys back out. So keep that in mind. You may want to stop doubling or something at some point. Okay, so we are going to get rid of this one before he doubles. So it doesn't really matter what I use here. I want to swing here. I'm going to keep one of these healthy. So this 2262 is my highest one. So I'm going to not swing with this one, I think, so that we can use it to make more copies in the future. Let me swing here. It's actually probably better to just try to get rid of this before he gets copies with it. So I just want to reduce its hit points as much as possible in case he does get a doubling attack off, which I don't think he will. I think we'll be able to kill it next turn. It goes a lot smoother if you prevent them from doubling. Or if you're as low health as possible when you double. Okay, so if I make board space here, no, they don't do enough damage. Okay, so I'm just gonna swing with all of them here and hold the highest health one. But you'll see these guys get this passive now that makes them do even more damage. So you have to be a little bit careful here as you're trying to kill these off to make board space, because they do get the extra 153 damage from Kazakus' transformed passive. So let's see, I'm going to stop using doubling attack, and I want to get 4 of these killed off. So that's like 1200. I guess I can swing with this one as well. Okay, so he's going to do 208 to everybody. That's fine. And I don't really want to do the extra damage to him. Okay, so I need to get Balinda and Bwon killed. And we still have this healthy golem on the bench here that we can get more doubles with. I'm gonna ramp some fire. And I guess I'll shoot at Balinda. Okay, so he's gonna do 227. The end of the turn. So I need to do 70 to Bwon. That should be enough. I was hoping I could do a binding contract, but it looks like it's not going to work out. That's fine. And I don't really want to have to put out these Nemsy or Artillery Strike Mercenaries, so I'm going to make doubles here. Actually, if I make doubles, those are going to die to the AoE, so I'm going to leave them sit. I could freeze this. I'm going to lose my elemental anyway, so I might as well. Just going to run out this extra dragon here. And you could use your Bwonsamdi earlier in the fight to do bounces and put more of these healthy dragons on your bench if you want that added layer of safety, so that you had, like, you know, 3 more golems sitting on your bench right now from earlier in the fight. But it's fine like this. It's just like more animation time, basically. Okay, so now we just won an artillery strike. Can't touch this is also very good on Nemsy, just for an added layer of safety, but you should be able to win just fine without can't touch this. Especially if you hit artillery strike. We got both though, so that's great. So the White King, if you artillery strike him, all he does is a 5-speed attack that Maiev has, that single-minded pursuit or whatever it's called. So you just need to be able to make taunts to get in the way of that. And I'm just going to kill these guys off because they just kind of get in the way and don't really do any damage. Here's the single-minded pursuit. We've already got a boggy, so we're safe. You could also taunt these things, but I don't want them to stay alive, so I'm going to get rid of them. I also have the can't touch this here, so I can put this... I just don't want to get Genn crit, but I can put it on Rogers and start swinging and ramping Rogers. And we actually heal for enough with this can't touch this that I can swing with Boggy as well. But you would just be blocking these with Genn summons and new Boggy summons if you don't have the can't touch this. So I'm just going to keep buffing Rogers and make some summons here and swing. And all he does is summon chess pieces and swing with that attack. So if you've got a root or you've got summons, taunts, whatever, you'd be safe for this. I don't think I can get this through. Maybe if I start buffing this, then we can start swinging with this before Rogers swing, so we get the Rogers swing on the boss. This isn't gonna do anything, but if I get this up to 100, then we'll be able to kill Queen summons and then get the hit here. So we'll summon there. Now that's up to 100, so Queen is dead. And Rogers will hit the Queen. Everywhere Worgen is also pretty nice for this. Although, you have to be a little bit careful with that. I'm going to start taunting Rogers again. You'd have to be careful with Everywhere Worgen because you'll lose taunt on these, and then you might not have Can't Touch This since you need an artillery strike, but there's other good treasures. For the Alliance is good. You can also transform your Genn. I guess I might as well do that at this point. And if I'm doing that, I might as well taunt him as well, since he won't be crit anymore. Okay, so the Queen is dead with that. I guess I could taunt Nemsy too. Just be sure if you're taunting your Nemsy that you actually have enough Can't Touch This healing to survive hits from the King. And same thing with Genn. If you do taunt him while he's red, he can get crit, so that can cause some issues. We do already have an artillery strike. I guess this makes the fight go faster for the end. So I'll just take the Worgen. We'll keep artillery strike. I guess if I had taken other artillery strike, I could have swapped Rogers to Wind Fury there, which also would have been good. So the artillery strike requirement is kind of high because of Vanndar. On the last boss, you do need to have at least 300 or hit the Rogers with at least 150. And then Babbling Book is 180. As we just saw there. Okay, so here I'm gonna put, I guess the order doesn't matter too much here, but usually you want your summons on the right hand side, but we have Can't Touch This, so it doesn't matter too much. Okay, so we are gonna have to endure a Hysteria here. I'm just gonna Can't Touch This my Nemsy. And then these guys will just hit Nemsy and Boggy. I'm going to not swing with Rogers for now. I'm going to not buff Rogers for now. And I'm going to not buff Genn for now. Actually, buffing Genn should be fine. Because Nemsy's going to tank the hit. So extra damage to Nemsy is fine. Or Boggy, either one. And this attack here will clear out the spawns. Not that they really matter. Okay, and then we're gonna get bounced. So I want to Bogonomics, Rogers. It's swing in here, and we'll get a Genn summon out. So Genn's the only one not protected by Nemsy. And you shouldn't need can't touch this to beat this fight with this comp. I'm pretty sure summoning Boggies in Genn summons and having those tank while you heal yourself with the Genn passive should be enough. And every time you get bounced, you get an extra Boggy, and then those Boggies start ramping your health. With the Peaches equipment, so I'm pretty sure you do get through this. You might have to take some turns where you don't swing with Rogers and just heal with even speed abilities. Since we can't touch this, we get to swing every turn. And as I mentioned at the start, you can get through the first fight without Nemsy. It just makes it a little bit easier to ensure that you have time to wait for the dragons to cast their duplication ability. But you could use other mercenaries to accomplish that with the Deathwing strategy. Okay, so I'm going to taunt Genn here, and then I want to get rid of this guy. Okay, so if I do this, this will lose taunt, but that's fine. Just want to ramp Rogers.
Job's done.
So this still heals from the Genn passive. It just doesn't get healing from having taunt anymore until I retaunt it with Nemsy. So now I'm gonna put this over here and put these. So the normal setup for this fight is to go weak to strong on your attacks, but we've taunted everything and we've got can't touch this, so it doesn't matter what we do. Alright, we can't act this turn. So I'm going to swing with these. I'm going to keep this Worgen alive because it's already ramped. So I don't want to swing with it right now. Normally, the ordering weak to strong thing is for if these guys weren't taunted and you didn't have essentially immune taunts to soak the hits, then you want their damage to apply to your taunts from low to high. Okay, so we got that re-taunted now. And now we're just swinging every turn. And same as yesterday, the Medivh, Genn, and Rogers setup is very reliable for this fight, so if you wanted to try to squeeze Medivh into the comp, possibly in that Nemsy slot, he can also turn 1 taunt Bwonsamdi. It just wears off for the next turn. But there is certainly a way to get through that first fight with Medivh and these artillery strike mercenaries in the comp. Okay, can't act this turn, so we're just gonna swing. I'm gonna start taunting Genn. Let's see, if I transform him, he starts ramping from everywhere Worgen as well. So I do miss 1 turn of ramp on these guys, but I think that's probably worthwhile for speeding up the fight. And then he'll be able to crit N'Zoth here. So this takes a while. This is with Everywhere Worgen and pretty good stats, and can't touch this, so this fight is probably very long if you try to do this without any of these treasures, so the Medivh version might be a better choice. You wouldn't have the perma-taunted Bwon, but you should be able to make it through that first fight and get those copies going. You might just have to restart the fight if they don't use Duplicate early enough. But you do want to kill Balinda and Bwonsamdi off anyway by the end of that. So even if you put out Balinda, Bwonsamdi, and Deathwing at the start, after using Medivh to taunt the first turn, and you don't use him after that, and they end up dying on like turn 2 or turn 3 or something while you're waiting for duplications to go off, that's fine. You should be perfectly fine. So I could start swinging here, or I can ramp some more. Right now he's only doing like 300 damage swings, so I'm gonna get a little more ramp. Right, and then I'm just gonna start swinging with Genn next turn. It would have been fine to swing with him last turn as well. So Rogers will clear those out, and then Genn will swing afterwards and hit N'Zoth. Juicy crit. If we're lucky, Rogers will hit N'Zoth as well, but it's not likely. Oh, it did. Okay, that's great. And we get to finish him off this turn because of that. So pretty easy run. You do get to play around with the Deathwing again, which is a nice change of pace, but it's a pretty slow where you have to kill 3 bosses, so not the greatest. And my suggestion would be, if you do want an easier fight there, you could try to fit, probably just swap Nemsy for Medivh. So you have a similar setup to what we used on the previous day. You could also try to bring Khadgar, but then you start running into problems with like not being able to like freeze and bounce to prevent the Kazakus from transforming too prematurely before you're ready for it. And you do want to be able to protect your Deathwing long enough that you do get to steal something. So you might have to re-roll if they don't use their duplication attack early enough. And you don't really have space to swap out your artillery strikes because you need artillery strikes still, and these mercenaries are pretty nice for the N'Zoth fight. So good luck on your run.